Rooted in resilience, inspired by nature, powered by movement. The podcasts where healing meets empowerment. Let's rise and thrive together. And now, here are your hosts, Scott and Melissa.
Welcome into Rise and Thrive, the place of vital edge wellness coaching. I'm here with my co-host, Melissa. Hi, Melissa.
Hello.
We're going to start with our moment of mindfulness, and Melissa's going to lead us through a grounding moment, and we will move on from there.
We're gonna add the bowl.
We'll see how this goes.
And we'll see how it goes. So we'll have to listen and see if it actually makes a beautiful sound as we hear on the side. So once I ring the bell, I'm going to have you listen to it all the way to the end. And if you're in a place that you can close your eyes, go for it. If not, please keep your eyes open to a soft gaze. I'm going to encourage you here to relax your jaw and soften your tongue. Just let the simplicity of the moment be you noticing the inhale and exhale. The mind drifts a bit. Just going to gently bring it back. Tether it back to the inhale and the exhale. And let this be a moment in your true nature, simply to be. Even in those few moments, we're all now a little more receptive. So offer yourself a little bit of undivided attention to be with us today. Nice sigh in through the nose, out through the mouth. You're welcome if your eyes are closed to open them. Put the bowl down. And here we are.
Nice. Thank you. I love those little respites throughout the day. And for those of you not experienced with taking those mindful minutes, it really does level out the highs and lows of your day when you can incorporate those in between meetings and in between conversations. It's a little vacation for your capital S self. So we love to start our podcasts with these. And maybe one of these days, if we weren't so packed with topics, we can end the podcast with them too.
We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. So today we're really excited. We're talking about something near and dear, especially to Melissa's heart of late. She's been talking to me a lot about these themes that have been coming up. And we feel like it's an awesome fit for what we're doing here when we talk about healing and how we can help people on their journey live in their truth and live in their peace and joy. And we're going to talk about one aspect of that today. And because we know that healing begins on the inside, you start from the inside out. And when we start from the outside in, it comes with a lot of stuff. It comes with a lot of controversial positions and shame and guilt and you should and I can't. And we want you to become a being of power. Ultimately, that's what we want for our message to root in with all of you as we're trying to do for ourselves in our own journeys individually, is to become that power house that you are. And I'm going to turn it over to Melissa, and she's going to talk a little bit about what she's experienced lately with not only herself, but with her clients, and how to begin to root into that powerful engine that is inside of you.
Well, I think part of it coming up has been because we are doing the podcasts, and I've been thinking about different topics. And Scott and I have been doing a lot of inner work for quite a few years now, and continuing, right? It's a journey. And I really want to support what he shared about healing from the inside out. And most of us come to it from an outside in. In our culture.
Yeah, from children on. Yep.
Yeah, we get taught early on that it's you've got a checklist of things you're supposed to work or go to school and have a family, job, da 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 da. It's all outside stuff, and hope that your body can make it. Hope it comes along. And then as I get to meet with many beautiful people every week, you have this realization that, wait a minute, I need to pay attention to something else here. And if anybody's read, I'm sure we'll put this to the resource list, The Body Keeps Score. Your body accumulates your life experiences. And if we were taught from an early age to disregard symptoms, which I like to call messengers from the human body, or just go to the doctor to fix it. Or, I remember meeting people along my way in the past that whenever they'd have a little sniffle or something, immediately go to the doctor.
Yeah.
And not to say that's a bad thing, right? We have our resources. And something that's important to Scott and I to make sure too is that we're not here to be controversial.
Or create controversy.
Or or put anybody down for methods. Like all my fellow nutrition and health people out there, I totally support. We're all in this journey together. We're all trying to figure out, and especially in our culture, is how to take care of these human bodies. And most people that I attract to work with are facing this question. My body's getting louder and louder with these messengers, and I don't know what to do, and I just want to feel good. And
what's a message? Give me an example.
Headaches, digestive issues, a lot of physical, I call your symptoms, your messengers.
Sleeplessness.
This could come emotionally, physical, mental, emotional, right? And when we've grown up with a list, and then all of a sudden we're faced with these other things that we've not got really the toolkits to handle, we're looking to others. In our current medical system, we often get sent to multiple different specialists, all looking at you with a snippet of time. And I want to share something up front that, again, like we said, we want to support everyone out there in their journey and even their teachings. I mean, just to give it a little bit of context for a moment, this human body is amazing. And we know, right now, we don't know much about it. Literally, a recent conference, neurobiologists from Harvard said we have barely begun to understand the brain. Barely. On top of that, those that work with me with digestion and nutrition, microbiome, if you hear that word, your gut bacteria, this whole ecosystem that is thriving in you, there's more living on you than you yourself. We have just started to tip our toe into that. And then on top of that, one of my doctor clients sent me a podcast to listen to about a recent discovery about 2015. Let me repeat that, 2015. It wasn't long ago, it may seem, but a organ structure in the body was discovered.
An undiscovered organ.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I have past experience, decades of experience, where I've kind of been navigating the Eastern world and Western. And This particular organ, not to go into too much detail right now, Eastern had a knowing about it. Western likes to scientifically prove and have the technology to see it, touch it, tangible. And they did that in 2015. So realize, I just want to share that we are all learning. The answers are not, oh, that's going to fix it. That's going to fix it. I'm going to go do the next silver shiny thing going by. What I want to support in talking about today is to release, like Scott said earlier, the feeling like the shoulds, the shame, it's my fault. I just need to do this. I literally taught a class on Wednesday where this topic came up. And many people, including myself, grieve at years that we've spent in our life, low self-esteem, shame, not feeling good about ourselves because of how we look, what we weigh, all of that. And the more I get into my, what Scott calls my wisdom years, is that I want to live. I want to support my clients to live. And by all means, I could put the nutrition hat fully on and come help you look at macronutrients and all those good things. And that can be supportive to you. And I totally am open to those. So I'm not putting any of that kind of stuff down. At the same time, when we uncover what we really want, right? Often we go after these things saying, oh, well, that didn't work and that didn't work. What are we really wanting to work? Often we want to feel good. We want to feel confident in our bodies. We want to be able to go do what we want to do. And what I want, my passion, why I'm so passionate about this is I want to help people, as many as I can, to release that and to step fully in to caring for their bodies. And what Scott and I have discovered along our way, and with the help of our practices and Eastern philosophies and bringing it all together, is that there is an inner knowing that when we feel lost and we're turning to look for that help, guess what? And this may sound elusive to some, that your body has a lot of the answers you're seeking. We just have to learn to get quiet, to listen. And that's what Scott and I both have been able to do in our coaching, is to come alongside people and support them to tune in, to hear what their body's saying, not tell them what to do, not put them in a box and say, well, just do these things and then you'll get these results. That's why one of our guest speakers said, one of my quotes I share with them all the time is releasing the attachment to the outcome. It's not that we're not after a goal or we're working towards it, but we're going to release that attachment because we might come at it from a completely different way. And I'm going to speak for myself here. I don't want to wake up every day thinking I've got to try to control what I eat and manage and not feel good about myself and think my day's successful if I didn't eat this, or, when it comes to nutrition, that's kind of an easy one to pull up there.
Yeah.
So I can talk for a long time, but I want to just bring that up and know that's part of our building of our community, is that we want to support you along any part of the journey that you're on. And we have a lot of skill sets in all those areas. And ultimately, we want to help you come back home. And can I pause for like a retreat announcement?
Sure.
I just get all excited and my brain's working. I've been making posts, been having kind of fun with it, like trying to share, because we have retreats. Vital Edge Wellness Coaching is, yes, we have our entities that will help you individually on these things. You always can reach out to us to have that support. And we brought our two entities together to create a retreat company. And the podcast is our way of supporting us in that growth in between for us to build that community. The retreat isn't for you to just go to a fancy place. I have learned time and time, I'm going to bring it full circle to the body keeps score. We hold on to the stress and the emotions. Many of us have not learned to process them and let the body resolve it through breathing, through some of the different work, the exercise, the nutrition, all of that. So the retreat is a way to come back home to yourself. It's a way to come out of the place that kind of started the chaos or in the chaos, and helping you to get a fresh look, reconnect, and ultimately, I will make sense. I will come back around, I promise, to come back to that inner knowing. because you got to get out of what is creating and staying in that environment so that you can clear your mind and body, your nervous system, and open up to that inner voice that's whispering to you. And for some people, it's yelling at you, but we don't know how to respond. And we're going to give you the tools and the support. So
September 11th through 15th.
Nice job.
In Chinalani, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. You can look at our website to get the details on that.
It'll be in the notes too.
It's an amazing reset opportunity. You've talked a lot about the body, and that is a huge part, but it is not the only part. I think, I wrote down consumer. We are consuming things, not just food and not just bad habits around our bodies, but we're also consuming the environment of information in the world and what you're told at work and what you're told by your partner or your friends, or maybe they're not your friends and you're buying into what they're being told. So let's talk a little bit about the consuming of information and how we hold on to things. And we will talk about release in another podcast in detail. But today, it's about what we're taking in and how much we're letting go of and consuming, and understanding that we have the information we need if we're listening, right? So what about those intangible things?
Well, I love that, because all of that is coming at us, and we can think, oh, I'm going to do this because this works, or I'm going to feel better, right? You're the final decider. And when you create space for yourself to tap in and listen, we immediately often want the answer. We want the solve. And sometimes we have to be okay with sitting in the question.
Yeah, that's not easy for me because I want the solve.
Right.
But as a meditator of 30 years, I still am impulsive enough to want the solve. But I know once I take 5, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it may be, I will get what I need. But getting to that place to do it, how do you consistently get to that place to do it?
Well, reaching out for support to help you.
Coaching can help.
Coaching can help. But also, this is a neural rewiring that it takes time and consistency to say, okay, first, just even to open up that your body's communicating with you. Most of us have shut down. We don't want to feel. We want to put a cream on it.
Sometimes ice cream.
Right? Ice cream or a cream, or take a pill, right? And if we just pause and give ourselves that moment. So it literally starts out just like our beginning. If you don't have an official meditation practice yet or anything like that, just even pausing to breathe and feel your body. I have worked with so many over my decades where we have taken they've come to me insecure in their bodies, disconnected from the body, trauma background. They don't want to feel. They don't want to get quiet. They want to distract. They want to find the next busy thing or the next thing that they think will work, right? Because it's that disconnection. So we start out small. And if that means we're going to have a whole podcast on grounding, like whatever resonates with you. But first and foremost for today, something that happens every day, all the time, right under your nose, is just one breath can shift that inner environment to say, oh, I'm going to pause. And realize that, hey, I've got a friend here. And a lot of my yoga practices is befriending this body. Like, I'm going to build a friendship, a person that you wake up, you get a call from at 2 a.m., your best friend. You'd pick it up. You'd be there. Right? So what about treating your body as your best friend and starting to listen? So that is the beginning journey. What I've experienced is healing from the inside out, is you start with awareness. I have a body. It can be my friend. And it's talking to me and I'm going to listen.
So how does someone with a debilitating illness or the loss of a limb or some neurological illness take that advice and apply it?
Well, that's one of my specialty areas because I do work a lot with chronic pain. And if anybody out there, many are experiencing that. I started early on working with chronic pain, probably 2013, with a clinic. And it was a clinic actually created. It was for dealing with chronic pain because chronic pain is elusive and medical doctors weren't knowing what to do or how to. So this clinic was birthed for that reason. And it was all behavioral, it wasn't medicinal. So it's exactly what I shared is and we're going to have more and more guests on that are going to share their journey of they daily live with chronic pain. It doesn't mean it's going to go away. Their relationship changes to it
Relationship changes with it. Got to remember that.
As they apply this understanding and some of these practices.
And rebuild trust.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, your body's there it's not, against you, it's for you. But we often think it's something to fight with. And when you start to lean in, one of my doctor colleagues that I'm working with that, we always talk about leaning into the pain. And that would throw our clients, our patients for a loop because they're like, at that, I don't want to feel this pain. But when we lean into it, we dissolve its power. And it has been miraculous to watch people's transformation of, I'm living my life. We mutually know an individual that has been head to toe chronic pain and is so committed to her workouts every day and making healthy nutrition and her yoga practices. And she's living. Just got back from 5 months in Hawaii. Not gallivanting around. She's living and exploring life. And she says, I'm not going to let my pain stop me. And it was her pain, that relationship that developed. And it's been beautiful to watch. So,
yeah.
Did I answer the question?
No, I think the question was answered. It just, we have a finite amount of time in these podcasts, and it's always kind of frustrating that we want to honor our programming to be short and succinct for our listeners. And I never want our listeners to go away going, well, that wasn't enough. There's going to be more on this. And yet we have a process we have to stick to. And so that silence and that reaction was me going, I want to talk more about this, and we're going to continue here. But just know that this is an ongoing. This is kind of the root of it all. This is all about your self-awareness and building those tools. And I want to jump into, and we don't have time today, but I want to also talk about not just the consuming, but then the letting go of. Mm-hmm. And those two have to work in harmony, because Melissa's explained that from a young age, we start getting conditioned. We start hearing the shoulds, and you can't, and you need to, and take a pill or go see this doctor or do this thing. And some of that is actually relevantly good information, and some of it needs to stop. And deciphering that and weeding through that is difficult, but it's not impossible.
Right. And that's part of what I often share is that that's why follow and like us, because this is part of us building that community so that we can go, okay, this is piquing my interest. There's something in you listening today. You're going to be like, it's resonating. I feel that. And know that as we continue together, just even listening to this today, just even breathing at the beginning, you've begun. You've started this journey. And your lens that you look through is going to start to change. It is already changing right now.
Exactly.
So I'm going to come back. Again, I will repeat this. You'll hear me over and over again. It's trust the process. Listen to us each week. Join us on the retreats. And this isn't just, this is part of us tapping into that inner wisdom, listening, and knowing that, like Scott said, there's going to be some good things, but there's so much coming at us even more now that you need to be able to sit back and ask, is this right for me? Is this right for my body? Not just I'm after a result, I need to look a certain way. I want us to I come from the perspective, I've steeped myself into, whole and complete being. There's nothing missing. I'm not broken. I'm just learning to be human.
Being whole.
And I want to come alongside everyone, and we want to have others join us to talk about these things. And again, trust the process. It'll unroll and unravel, unfurl.
Mm-hmm.
But simply, I want to come back to the breath, literally.
Yeah.
Breathe with us, ground with us. And as these topics resonate, just hang with it. Listen to it again. Take little snippets, write it down, and put sticky notes up. Whatever, little pieces of the podcast come out to you that are tapping in. And that's going to hook you up, reconnect you to that inner wisdom, that inner voice that wants to speak.
Yeah. So the main takeaway today is to pause and breathe and just let that body talk to you, right? And let it be. And
without trying to find an answer or solution.
Yeah, you're not seeking, try to help your mind slow down. It's not happening in the mind, it's happening in the body. And move your body. You can do this while you're walking too. It's really healthy, and it's happy that your body's happy to respond in ways that don't always happen when you're sitting. So if you're uncomfortable sitting, you can also move and do both. So what are some other tools besides those two things we just spoke of that you'd like to leave them with?
This is just what's popping into my head right now, because I do wear strongly food is medicine. And so I'm going to throw out this tool because it could be a game changer. Say about a couple meals, even if it's just one, that you sit at your table, that you put your phone away or the TV, and realize when you put food in your body, that's an intimate connection. And this is, again, more information's coming as we go down the road together.
Whole podcast again.
But that's what came up for me when he said, what other piece? I'm like, when you can put that nourishment, what's going to happen is that intuition builds, as that quietness, that union, you're going to know what to put in your body. Your body's going to guide you. So getting quiet and having at least one or two meals or more, if you could, starting to build that routine, that's one of those big game changers that one of my science colleagues that shared, literally, your food will be received differently, even if it's not the best food choices, if you slow down and you chew it. I'm going to push some people's buttons here. 20 to 30 chews per bite. I know it's hard to do that with eggs. But slowing down and actually chewing and tasting your food, it's not about counting calories. It's not about portion control. It's about actually that intimate connection, slowing down. Gut has time to talk to the brain. Your body gets to process that food. A lot of things change. So just going to offer that.
It's a small step that seems simple, but simple is not always easy. I'm speaking from my own experience. Mm-hmm. My first career,
you're a foodie.
I was a chef, and I was a cook, and I was a chef, and I'm used to eating over garbage cans and getting back to work. And those habits are still with me. I still stand up and eat.
Many professions.
Yes.
In front of their computers really quick, shoving a sandwich down or something.
Yeah, I sit down to eat dinner watching a ball game. And so, we are not perfectionists. We are a work in progress ourselves. And mindful eating is one of my processes. So I'm glad you brought that up. And screen time will be yet another episode of podcasts.
Well, I share that too, because even for my clients listening, they'd be like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. I'll bring that back.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a reminder for us too. That's why we want to continue to share, because it's like, oh yeah.
Yes.
And so there you go.
There you go. Well, healing begins from the inside out. Mm-hmm. And so we hope that you will take away some of these tools today to lightly begin listening to your body, listening to your soul, listening to that inner voice that says, this is what you need.
Kindly.
And trusting it. So that's all the time we have for today. I always feel so unfinished. But,
no, it's not. No, because we'll talk later.
Yes, we will talk later. Every week we'll be here. And so be sure and like our podcast. You can find us on YouTube if you'd like to watch the video. If you're listening and you want to see our faces, you can go to YouTube. There's pluses and minuses of that, I suppose. And don't forget about our retreat. We'd love to see you in Chinalani with us in Mexico, September 11th through the 15th.
Yes.
And thanks for being here. And make sure you take care of each other and don't forget to take care of yourself. Thanks a lot.
Bye for now.
See you later.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Rise and Thrive. If you're ready for a deeper reset, join us for our upcoming wellness retreat in Mexico, September 11th to 15th. It's the perfect opportunity to recharge through movement, mindfulness, and connection. Visit vitaledgewellnesscoaching.com to learn more. If you found this episode valuable, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who could use a little more rise and thrive in their life. Follow us on your favorite platform to stay inspired. And until next time, keep rising and keep thriving.